The war had transformed the landscape into a metallic graveyard. Among the scattered bodies and discarded weapons, Elijah began to notice something sinister, echoes of his haunting dream. Every twist of a cog, every hum of motor seemed to whisper Legion's name. As he trekked across the terrain, a heavy tank trudged by, its massive treads leaving deep impressions in the mud. For a split second, he saw it, not as a machine of war, but as a living, breathing entity. The tank's metal exterior appeared to pulse, its exhaust fumes forming a near lifelike breath in the cold air. Legion's voice, cold and metallic, echoed in the distance. Progress is relentless, just like me. Disturbed, Elijah shook his head, attributing the visions to fatigue. But the visions persisted. As he approached a machine gun post, the rhythmic firing seemed to synchronize with his heartbeat. The soldier operating it appeared entranced, his eyes vacant, hands moving with machine-like precision. "Do you see it too?" Elijah whispered to Jacobs, nodding towards the soldier. Jacobs frowned. "See what?" "The way he's become one with the gun. It's as if—" Jacobs glanced at the soldier and then back at Elijah, his face etched with concern. "It's the war, Elijah. It does things to a man." But as days turned into nights, the presence of Legion grew stronger. Soldiers, once lively and spirited, now moved with mechanical precision, their conversations reduced to mere exchanges of information. Even in the mess hall, the clinking of utensils seemed to form a grotesque symphony, each note whispering Legion's dark promise. One evening, as Elijah worked on a malfunctioning artillery piece, he felt an overpowering sensation. The metal seemed to merge with his skin, the cold steel seeping into his very being. A voice, unmistakably Legion's, murmured, "You're becoming a part of something greater. Embrace it." Elijah recoiled, dropping his tools, eyes darting around the dimly lit tent. The machinery shadows seemed to twist and writhe, converging into a familiar, oppressive shape. Panicking, Elijah stumbled out of the tent, gasping for air. He collided with Jacobs, who grabbed his shoulders, trying to steady him. "It's everywhere, Jacobs," Elijah rasped, his eyes wild with fear. "Legion. It's in the machines. In us. It's taking over." Jacobs looked deep into Elijah's eyes, sensing the genuine terror. "We have to fight it, Elijah. Remember who we are, where we come from. We can't let it consume us." As the two men clung to each other amidst the cold, mechanical embrace of the war, a chilling realization dawned on Elijah. This wasn't just a war against adversaries. It was a war for their very souls. The question remained, could humanity ever reclaim its essence from the mechanical monsters it had birthed? Elijah lay on the cold, wet ground, the deafening sounds of artillery echoing in the distance. His body ached, the horrors of the day weighing heavily on his mind. Closing his eyes, he wished for respite, but sleep had become an elusive friend. As slumber overtook him, a chilling sensation crawled up his spine, and the familiar hum of machinery permeated the air. Once again, he found himself in the vast, inky void of interconnected gears and pulsating lights. The sights and sounds were almost nostalgic now, a testament to how much the dream realm had become a part of him. He wandered through the maze, the metallic aroma thick in the air. As he moved forward, he felt a palpable sense of anticipation. Legion's influence seemed omnipresent, the ambience fraught with tension. Suddenly, Elijah's foot caught on something. Looking down, he recoiled in horror as he recognized the mangled body of a fallen comrade, his face contorted in an eternal scream of agony. Before he could react, the body was consumed by the cogs below, ground into nothingness, becoming one with the machinery. The ground below him began to shift, and the scenery around him transformed. The trenches of no man's land sprawled out before him, but this was no ordinary battlefield. The twisted, grotesque parodies of his memories from the war took form. Tanks fused with human bodies trundled across the landscape, their treads made of hands and faces, each one crying out in anguish. The sky rained not bullets, but shards of glass, piercing soldiers who morphed into grotesque shapes as they fell, their screams echoing in the wind. "Beautiful, isn't it?" A deep, resonating voice echoed around him. Legion materialized, more colossal and menacing than ever. "Your memories, your fears, they feed this place. Your war is our creation." Elijah, fighting the surging terror, retorted, "You're a figment, a creation of my mind." Legion chuckled, a sound that sent shivers down Elijah's spine. "Am I? Or is this the reality you refuse to accept? Every life taken, every drop of blood spilled, it strengthens me." Images of massacred comrades flashed before Elijah's eyes, gasping for breath amidst noxious gases, obliterated by artillery, torn apart by machine gun fire, all magnified and twisted into the machinery around him. As the dream's intensity increased, a profound sense of hopelessness gripped Elijah. But amid the cacophony, a familiar voice whispered, soft but determined, "Remember who you are, Elijah." With a jolt, Elijah awoke, drenched in sweat, the early morning light filtering through the gaps in the tent. The memories of the dream and the battlefield blurred. But one thing was clear. The war inside him was as real and deadly as the one outside.